Linda, darling, are you finally awake? Get dressed, we're leaving soon.
I froze. Linda? Who's Linda?
Linda, Mom wanted me to check on you.
I stared at her, horrified. Who was she?
Get dressed.
She barked, then walked off with Lisa in tow. This is a story that has haunted me for years. One that I've never shared. Until now. I warn you though, what you're about to hear is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Some details and names have been changed to protect identities, but the truth remains. The year was 2019, November 16th to be exact. I had just moved into a new apartment complex in Colorado. Work was a nightmare, preparing for the holiday madness. I was exhausted, physically and mentally. All I wanted was rest. The moment I collapsed into my soft, warm bed, the relief was immediate. But as I lay there, an unsettling feeling crawled up my spine. Something wasn't right. My room looked the same, yet different. I couldn't shake the sense of something lurking in the shadows. The fatigue made me doubt myself, so I closed my eyes, telling myself to just sleep. I needed rest. Suddenly, I was jolted awake. The sound of an alarm clock blaring, something old-fashioned. I am in disbelief, expecting to see my familiar dark room, but it wasn't dark. It was daylight, and as I looked around, panic set in. This wasn't my room. Orange-tinted wallpaper, boxes everywhere. My things were gone. My phone wasn't on the nightstand anymore. Instead, an old-fashioned alarm clock sat in its place, next to a vintage magazine from another era. What was happening? Was I dreaming? I pinched myself hard and cried out in pain. I was awake, but this place wasn't mine. Then I heard it, a woman's voice calling from the other room.
Linda, darling, are you finally awake? Get dressed, we're leaving soon.
I froze. Linda? Who's Linda? My mind raced, trying to piece together what was happening. I stumbled out of bed and approached the closet. Inside, the clothes were all vintage, Brady Bunch-esque dresses and polyester fabrics. I pulled out the least obnoxious one and held it in my hands, still trying to make sense of this nightmare. Then a giggle. A small blonde girl, her hair in braided pigtails, appeared in the doorway.
Linda, Mom wanted me to check on you.
I stared at her, horrified. Who was she? Who are you? I whispered. She laughed.
I'm your sister. I hit you, my Lisa. Did you hit your head?
Before I could speak, a woman walked in, late 30s, curly hair, stern eyes.
What's the hell, Linda? Get dressed.
She barked, then walked off with Lisa in tow. I got dressed and followed them downstairs. The house was packed with boxes, and everything was covered in dust. It all looked like something from the 1970s, frozen in time. I walked to the car, a faded green Ford Pinto. The woman snapped at me again, her voice harsh.
If we're late meeting your father, you're in trouble.
And just as I thought it couldn't get worse, a car swerved toward us, tires screeching. The crash was deafening. I woke up, gasping for air, the alarm clock buzzing in my ears. My own room, my real room. It was November 17th. The crash, the house, the family. Had it all been a dream? Or something more? I sat there, my heart racing, tears welling in my eyes. What had happened? Who were they? Why was I pulled into their world? At work the next day, I asked an elderly woman if she knew anything about a car accident from the 1970s. Her eyes grew distant. Oh, yes, it was a tragedy. A family was involved, Lisa, Linda, and their mother Margaret. They were heading to their new home when a drunk driver hit them. Only the driver survived. I froze. It was them, the family from my vision. The house where I lived now stood where their home once had been. When I got home, I researched the accident. Sure enough, I found photos of the family, Lisa, Linda, and Margaret. The family I had lived with even for a brief time. Their house had been torn down, replaced by the apartment complex where I now lived. I'll never know why this happened. Maybe it was to give them peace. Or maybe it was just a strange dream. Either way, I'm haunted by it, a past I can never truly touch, yet one that feels far too real. There are things in this world that can't be explained. Some stories need to be remembered. Others are just echoes from the past. And sometimes those echoes find their way to you.